through and through. Oh, the Toon Review. Laughs and passion, football too. We are the Toon Review. By the fans, for the fans, through and through. Laughs and passion, football too. We are the Toon Review. 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 Go!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review for tonight's show. Thank you very much to everybody for tuning in once again as the Premier League return is getting closer again as we kick off on Saturday, of course, away at Brighton, and you can listen to full commentary of that game through Matchday Live, starting at 2:30 on Saturday afternoon with a 3 o'clock kickoff, of course. I am joined tonight by the legend that is the Zen Garden Master, as we started to call him now, Billy Bob. Good evening.
And good evening to all the Toon Review Massive, the Magpie Massive, and all you outstanding, superb, magnificent people out there in Viewerland.
Now, as usual, if you do enjoy tonight's show, guys, please do hit that like button. And if you are unsubscribed, you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is free of charge to do so. Just hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss any uploads or videos from the Toon Review. I did have a look today, and there is still a lot of people who view on a regular basis but haven't yet subscribed. So please do hit the subscribe button. As I say, it is completely free, but it really does help us grow as a channel and puts us out there in YouTube search land so the fellow fans like yourselves can find us and hopefully subscribe in the future. Right, Billy, I just want your thoughts on the sort of stories that I've done today. Obviously, a live show this morning. There was a news video as well earlier on this afternoon. I want to talk to you about the Anthony Gordon one, because that's the one that sort of pricked my ears up, so to speak, when I was going through quite a lot of the stories. Now, it seems like Anthony Gordon has a release clause, Billy, which a lot of us were unaware of. Now, listen, I must reiterate this, that not all certainly not the Northeast journalists or anything, haven't made any reports on this. This has come from more of a sort of outstretched media outlets, and it's weird because it claims that Gordon has the same release clause as Bruno, which is 100 million. And this was put in the contract extension he signed in 2024. So are you a little surprised by this, or would you have liked the club to have maybe said that he does have a release clause, or is that something that maybe should be kept private between player and club?
Absolutely, yes. It's a private, for me, it's a private thing. If you don't want to sell him, I mean, to me, the 100 million seems a bit steep for him anyway. I don't think that anyone's paying £100 million for him on any day of the week, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah.
So if someone does come in with 100 million, then I think we'd say yes to it anyway. So to me, it's a bit redundant.
I did say that on the video, that I thought that 100 million, the way he's been playing. Listen, he's hitting form now, so this is
certainly is.
To do with how he's playing now. What I'm talking about is maybe last season. Obviously, I genuinely believe, Billy, that all that he was poor at the start of last season, if you can remember, because I do think all that Liverpool stuff affected him. Yeah. He's never come out and said so, but what he did do, or what he didn't do actually, is do what the Rat did and kick off and all of that. He just got his head down, he trained, he got on with things, and he's clearly over that now. He's said many times that his future now is Newcastle United, and he wants to win things here. So you've got to praise him in that count. But do you? The thing is, the 100 million, nobody's going to touch that unless he plays regularly like he is now for a full season.
I agree. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I just don't see that happening at all. It's forcing teams to overpay if they really want him, and I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I think he's played really well the past two international games. I think his signs of him getting better for Newcastle in the last two games also. So
yeah,
it looks like there's a run of form coming and a lot of confidence in the way he's playing. We saw that in the England game, both England games, to be fair. I'm looking forward to seeing him on Saturday and in the near future and see if he can maintain that. If he does, then I think we're going to start locking up the league, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah. Now, guys, I know Billy's screen is flickering a little bit. We seem to have narrowed it down to a possible wiring problem. Just a new wire, a new HDMI lead is needed for his camera. I had to change mine last week, so I think you've had yours for a few years now, Billy, to be fair, since I sent you the camera, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we are going to send Billy a new a new cable for the camera, and if that doesn't sort things, then we'll look at a new camera for Billy. So we are aware of Billy's little flickering on his screen, but don't worry, we are trying to put that right. It's just a case of trying to filter out the problem, as you do when things like this happen. Gaz has been a member with us for 2 months and says, "Evening, guys. RE's salary cap, as mentioned in the earlier video, is this not a play to further hinder Newcastle's growth, as well as a few others pushing to challenge?" The salary cap, Billy, for me, will be a non-starter. I don't think that will ever get off the ground, especially because Manchester City and Manchester United have both already said that they will not vote for this. If the big boys don't vote for it, then we may as well forget it. But I don't want. I think I said on the video earlier on that I do think there's some new financial process is needed somewhere along the line, and get rid of FFP and PSR. But I don't think salary cap's the right way to go, because I think it'll become too Americanized. Just like this, six substitution thing that they're putting forward. I just think it's becoming a little bit of a farce. I
couldn't agree more. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. There's no way on God's earth the likes of the Cartel Six are going to vote for this. No way on God's earth, and neither would it. I don't think Newcastle would either. If I'm perfectly honest.
No.
Why would you level the playing field so everyone has the same wage cap? Despite most of the teams, or a lot of the teams, just scrambling into the Premier League this year, having done another hard work of previous years. Teams like Sunderland, teams like, I don't know, say who you want, really.
Yeah,
but it's not fair that someone that's getting 12,000 fans in the door, like a Bournemouth, have the same wage salary cap as someone that gets in 52,000 through the door. I think you have to have some kind of advantage for having a great ground, a great stadium, a great fan base. There's got to be a little bit of that there, surely to God. Yeah. Not operating all on the same wage level doesn't make sense to me. It really doesn't.
Well, the way they're putting it forward is if they're basing it on the team that finishes bottom, which it really.
Well, that's the way to just wreck the league. If they can do that, I mean, players are just going to go to Serie A, to La Liga, to
that's exactly what the journalist said in his report, Billy, was that if they are going to put some sort of salary cap in, we may as well forget about the Premier League being the best league in the world, because they will go elsewhere. 100%. Because the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, PSG, all these massive clubs, Bayern Munich, around Europe will get stronger because they don't have a salary cap in place. It's a farce, and it's a no-go as far as I'm concerned. AD with a super chat says, did you lads see John Joe's article about playing in the UAE and leaving England? He had some lovely things to say about Newcastle. Yes, I also seen him miss a penalty last week in the it was a rather tragic penalty from John Joe. However, I did read the article, and yes, he's very complimentary about Newcastle, but to be fair, John Joe Shelvey left Newcastle. It wasn't under a cloud. It wasn't any bad malice. He left, and he listen, whatever you think of John Joe Shelvey, he still did a job for us while he was here, and he scored some vital goals for us. Did he perform every week? No, he didn't. But Shelvey's been like that all his career. But look, certainly from a Newcastle fan's point of view, I've got nothing bad to say about Shelvey. I don't know about you, Billy, but he saw us through some dark times. He kept with us.
I think we're the only club where, when he looks back on his career, he'll have a modicum of love and respect for still. I think he's left everywhere else on a bit of a cloud.
Yeah.
Whereas when we sold him to Forest, it was on the same night as the Carabao Cup semi-final. He came, he was there to watch it. He celebrated with the players, despite not being a Newcastle player anymore. And yeah, it's the only place in the UK he'd like to live. But I didn't like the rest of what he said about the rest of the country at all. I thought that was just nonsense.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, I was just concentrating on what he said about Newcastle. I mean, to be fair, Billy, it's normally the other way around, though, isn't it?
Yes,
it's the rest of the country that gets all the praise, and then it's Newcastle that gets called a hellhole. So for me, it was a little bit nice to see maybe parts of the other country being slammed and Newcastle getting praised for once, because, as I say, normally it's the other way around, which is really annoying. But yeah, best of luck to him. Just Matt, member for 17 months on the channel. Hi, Paul and Billy. Hope you're both well. Ange Mag, member for 16 months now. Thank you, Ange. Evening, everyone. Busy new job is taking over TTR time. Shocking.
Get a new job, Ange. Get a new job.
Indeed, yeah. Where are your loyalties, Ange? Still watching when I can. Hi to all. Doug from the Dugout channel, 44 months a member. That's incredible for a Liverpool fan to be 44 months a member on this channel. Great lad. I hope you and the family are doing well, matey. Evening, Paul and Billy. Thank goodness for the international break. I take it he's going to say that's over.
It's over. Yes, I think so.
Yeah. And Cheel has also gifted a Toon Review membership. So thank you very much, Cheel. Yep, the memberships are available by just clicking that join button underneath myself and Billy Bob. And of course, super chats are available if you click that $sign. If you do super chat the channel, that guarantees your comment to be read out on the show, as Magpie50 has just done. Thank you, mate. The cartel won't vote. It will stop them throwing money at any player they want. Corruption right there. The rules just benefit them. That isn't going to change, though, is it, Billy? It's not.
Those rules wouldn't benefit them. I mean, it's not benefiting anybody.
Yeah,
it's only benefiting the
cap
teams. It's just benefiting the teams at the bottom. That's shite.
Yeah. It benefits the teams who don't have the same sort of wage budget as maybe the top 10, top 12 in the Premier League. It wouldn't work. And look, I mentioned this earlier on, Billy, that salary caps do work in other sports. They work in, for example, everybody knows I follow the NHL ice hockey over in North America. They do have a salary cap in place, but what they don't have is transfer fees.
No.
It's all trading of players. And I think that works the same in the NBA and things like that. Mm-hmm. They don't have transfers. They trade players. They will take on players' contracts and things like that. There's no transfer fees involved. And that's why they have a salary cap. It's very different, and it's something that I don't think would work over here. And I think it would spoil the game. And that's what I've been trying to push across over the shows I've done today, is that I don't want to see football become too Americanized in this country, because obviously there is a lot of American owners and we don't want to go down that route, Billy.
Well, if you look at American sports in general, I mean, all of the arenas they play in, whether it be ice hockey arenas or basketball arenas or even American football stadiums, they all hold pretty much the same amount of people. So everyone's getting the same income in, and then it makes sense then.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make sense when there's different incomes.
You look at the merchandise side of things as well, Billy. When you go on, like the NHL, for example, has, yes, it's got, you can go and search your different teams, but it's generally all under one umbrella for the merchandise, i.e. replica shirts cost the same across the board with every single club. Yeah. And that's how it works. It doesn't work like that over here, and it never would work like that, because you've got your independent clubs. I don't want to go down that avenue, and I think that would really be the end of football as we know it if we start doing things like that. And the 6 substitute thing, Billy, how far are we going to go with this? It was 3, it was 5, now they're talking about 6. It's going to get to the stage where we're going to do what the American football do and just change half your team, and then maybe players come off for 10, 15 minutes and come back on. I just don't want that at all.
When I was born, there weren't any things as substitutions.
No, there wasn't. No,
it's ridiculous. I mean,
I think there was.
Then it went to 1, then 2.
Yeah, I remember. I started going in '82 when I was I was very, very small. Put it that way.
Well, about 6'1".
Yeah. Somewhere around that. Yeah. But I used to take me little plant pot of manure to stand in at the front of the Gallagher Bill, just so my dad could see us grow a couple inches every game.
Wouldn't that welcome the Mackhams in?
Well, it got thrown a lot, put it that way. But I remember just 2 substitutes. In fact, I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 back then.
It would have been 1, 82. Yeah, I think it went to 2 subs around the 88 time. Around the same time as back passes to goalkeepers stopped.
Yeah, because they started because there was a number 12, which was always the substitute, and then they brought a number 14, didn't they? When it went to 2 subs.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see it go down that route because it spoils it for me. And you know, you will get some people thinking, yeah, but you see the amount of games they're playing now. They played more back then, man. You know, can you remember the Christmas periods where they used to play?
Yeah.
They used to play on sort of a Saturday, but if Boxing Day was like 2 days after, they'd play on Boxing Day as well. I remember, didn't they play on Christmas Day at one stage?
They used to in the 50s and 60s, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
They used to play the same team on Christmas Day, then play the away game on the Boxing Day.
And fitness of players was nothing like it is today. You know, and the pitches and the footballs they played with.
No,
Come
absolutely.
on. You know, let's just take a break on that, for God's sake. Brian Rogers with a super chat says, "Hi, Paul and Billy. I have had the hardest day of my life as I have laid my wife of 52 years to rest." Brian, I know that you know Bill was on the fan forum on Monday and said that the funeral was happening today. Thank you for letting us know, and obviously it's a really, really tough day for you and the family. You know that all of our thoughts and prayers are with you and the family. It's an awful time. I mean, 52 years is incredible to be with someone. You've obviously had a fantastic relationship, and you've always got your memories, Brian, and you will see her again one day. I'm sure of that, and I'm sure she'll be looking after you. But try and stay strong, my friend. Keep those good memories at the forefront. But if you ever need to reach out, you know where we are. We're always here. So please do just take your time with things, Brian. And you'll never be fully recovered from something like that. But hopefully, you know, we can all help each other and help you move on. So thank you for letting me know, Brian. Now, Billy, I want to talk to you. The main subject of tonight's show is all about sort of the rotation, if you like, of Newcastle United over the next few weeks. Because we looked at the fixtures last night and we thought, yeah, there's some tough fixtures in there, and players have got to step up to the mark. But my concern, Billy, is the fact that we don't have Livramento and Hall over the next how long it may well be. Hopefully, Eddie will give us some good news tomorrow in his press conference with regards to injuries. But I'm concerned at the fullback situation, Billy. I don't know about you, but Dan Burn, yes, he can play left back to a degree. It's worrying, though, that he's going to have to play so many games. It's worrying at right back as well, with Trippier being the age he is. You know, can he play 3 games in 7 days on a consistent level for the next God knows how long? I don't know about you, but the fullback positions worry me more than any other position on the pitch, Billy.
It does me. It's the only one where we're not really covered.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that if Trippier does need a rest, I don't think it'll be Emil Kraft that'll play there. I think it'll be Malik Chow and Fabian Schär will step in. I think he'll mix and match and make do. The left back one's really tough for me. I would have given Alex Murphy. I will definitely give Alex Murphy a go at some point. Whether that'll be in the Carabao Cup against Spurs or not, I don't know. But I think he needs.
Yeah.
I think he needs minutes just to get him into that kind of level of football anyway. So have him on the bench, bring him on if we can in European games in the league game on Saturday, and get him used to it. I mean, he's had a few minutes against Chelsea last season or the season before, and very little since. You know, in first team football. So he's not really helped himself in that level. We've had. Obviously, Matt Targett's gone on loan. I don't know if I don't want to recall him, but if it needs to be happening, then let's do it. Mm-hmm. Or there's free agents like William Loddy, who we could have signed, and you know there was rumours of it a couple of weeks ago. Nothing seems to have happened on that.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's on a free, isn't he?
He's out of contract with anyone, so we could just have him.
So you're not taking you're not. There's no massive risk in that. But what it does is it backs up the numbers, which we are short of at the minute, because we haven't heard anything on the Lewis Hall situation since Eddie last updated us, saying that they had to wait another 10 days before giving him another scan. And all Eddie left us with was, we hope it's not long term. So, you know, we really don't know where it stands. Hopefully, we'll hear something tomorrow. Livramento is going to be a while. And these have got to come back, Billy, and get match fit again. It's not like we can just throw them in straight away because they've been out for so long. They have to get match fit again. So we're not going to be with them for a good while yet.
100%. I mean, if Livramento's with that ligament injury, 8 weeks, and you can add another 2 or 3 weeks on top of that, just to get him anywhere near match fitness. So he's going to have to be eating gently, and that's hopefully without him reoccurring any injuries he's got. Lewis Hall, apparently someone in the chat said December.
Craig Hope's saying December, apparently. I haven't seen that, but if that's the case, then that's a massive blow.
That is a massive blow. Yeah, someone mentioned there Shahar. He's 17? Is it worth the gamble of putting Shahar in the squad when you've got Malik Chow who can play there?
I don't think Eddie likes to do that, Billy, if we're honest. I don't think he would throw Shahar straight in.
It's only fullback. We're in trouble. It really is only fullback. I think we can cover everywhere else.
Yeah. Geordie Wayne says, Craig Hope reporting Lewis Hall's second scan was good news and could feature before the next international break. Well, that's not December. Then. That's November. So, look, they're going to take the time. They're going to take the time with Lewis Hall. I mean, there's no way they're going to rush him back. It's pointless. I know we need him back, and we need Tino back, but at the same time, we don't want to have any risks at all. Apparently 2 subs were allowed in 1982, says Southern Geordie. Well, who knows? I can't remember. I was too little, too young. It was a long time ago.
Way after that.
Yeah. Now, obviously, Billy, Alan Shearer's had his say on Wisser as well, because this is, again, rotation of strikers. I'm convinced that Eddie does not see much in Asula. Right, and I've held that since the possibility of him moving back at the end of the window, and there's still rumours kicking around that Newcastle are prepared to let him go in January, providing they can bring in another striker. So we'll just have to wait and see on that. But the workload on Voldemar is going to be incredible over this next few weeks because we've got very, very big games, and we all don't want Anthony Gordon as striker. But is it going to come down to the point where maybe in some of the big games, Billy, he's not going to risk starting Asula if Voldemar needs rotating? It's going to be Gordon again.
Well, I think that possibly has happened, yeah. I honestly do believe that because he'll think he's got more depth on that left flank because he can bring Harvey Barnes in. So, yeah, I tend to agree with you. I think if that was to happen, and if that is the case, then there is no real need to have Will Asula in the squad, is there? And we can sell him and he's not going to be a loss because Eddie Howe's not going to play him in the big games if he's needed.
Yeah, for me, Billy, that'll be a big indicator of where Eddie thinks Asula is. And look, we're not going to get anything off Eddie in press conferences. When you ask him about Asula, he'll just turn around and say he's part of the squad, he's training well, he's learning well. He'll say the usual spiel. But behind the scenes, I genuinely think that Asula will probably move on if we do bring in another striker. Now, Shearer, by the way, on Voldemar, Billy, did you read that he came back from international duty on an EasyJet? That's incredible. I mean, what other Premier League footballer do you know that just jumps on an EasyJet and comes home that way? I thought does that not just tell you all about Voldemar? That he's not the big I am. He's just a genuine guy who plays football. I mean, when did you last hear of a Premier League footballer jumping on an EasyJet flight to come home from international duty? Especially
one at 6'7". I mean, they're not the biggest seats in the world anyway, are they?
I mean, I think he would have got an extra legroom seat. I would have.
Have they got one there? It's like little air, isn't it?
Well, I mean, on the Ryanair flights that I had in the summer, you sit by the emergency doors. There's 2 rows of extra legroom. Yeah. So I always pay for the seats and make sure that I get an extra legroom. I'm not sure what kind of. If it's an Airbus, then I don't know because these were Boeings I was on, so I don't know what. Somebody might know the planes in the chat. I don't know, but I read that and I thought, wow, 75 quid flight. I mean, rather than paying, the club paying for a private jet and all this, I thought that was incredible.
Yeah, well, I guess you can get a flight straight from Belfast back into Newcastle, easy peasy. Get out home before the end of Wednesday night, whenever they play. Wednesday, Tuesday,
absolutely.
Whenever it was. Monday, whenever it was.
He probably could have swam it, given the size of him, Billy. I mean,
he could have stepped over it, yeah.
He could have stepped over, just like stepping over a puddle. Absolutely. Peter Garthwaite has sent in a super chat. Thank you, Peter. Would you not start Elanga up front if we need to rotate?
It's not up to us, is it? It's Eddie Howe, and of course,
we suggested
Eddie Howe plays Anthony Gordon up front when he needs to.
Yeah. I mean, we've suggested it, but I think if we were going to see it, we probably might have seen it already when Gordon was suspended. But we haven't. So I don't think. Listen, it is an option because we can play Elanga there. I'm worried about Gordon though, Billy, because he's getting into a bit of a groove now, back on the left-hand side.
Yeah,
and
he is.
If we take him out of that role and put him back in there again as striker, he just doesn't have the same impact. He'll run, he'll close down, he'll do all those things. But I think what we saw for England over the last 2 games, Billy, is what Anthony Gordon can give us.
100%. Yeah, I thought he was outstanding. I know
because he went both ways, didn't he? He took the defender on, he cut inside, you didn't know where he was going.
I know people are saying it's only Latvia, it's only Wales, but you've still got to beat the player in front of you. And Wales had Nico Williams play there. He's no mug, he's no slouch. And he had him on toast as well. So, yeah, he was unpredictable. The fullback didn't know if he was going to go inside or on the outside of him. And whichever way he went, he generally got past him. So, I thought he had a really good couple of internationals. And that confidence should come into the Newcastle side for the rest of the season, really.
Jazz says Elanga up front is a terrible idea. He's got 0 goals when playing up front. Asula has a Premier League goal and a Champions League assist. Well, that's what I mean, Jazz. This is going to give an indication of where Eddie Howe believes Asula is, because there's no way the Voldemar can play every single game now moving forward. Before the next international break, it's just not going to happen. He can't do that.
Especially the Germans picked him at the minute. They pick him every game, so he's not getting any less when he goes on international duty.
Exactly. By the way, Billy, Kevin says you were right, Billy. 1987-88 became the season of 2 subs. I can't believe anybody questioned your knowledge on that, Billy, to be fair. I mean, do they not watch this channel enough? This man
I can't remember when it was the centenary Football League against the rest of the world where Maradona and Lineker played for the rest of the world and that kind of stuff happened. Wembley, that's when it first started. Which was 87-88.
We've got Alex for his stats, but Billy is just the encyclopedia, guys. I mean,
stupid things. I don't know everything. I just know stupid things.
He's been watching football since the First World War, and he is just a...
I saw that game between the British troops and the German troops on Christmas Day, 1950.
You were there for the Toon review, weren't you?
Paul McCartney scored the winner.
Commentating through a cone.
And then Paul McCartney, 1-0 to Britain. Play the pipes of peace, not Granny.
Oh, dear me, the pipes of peace. God almighty. I bet you've played a few of them in your time, Billy. Adam Bygate says, just want to say the watch-along with Billy for England was top-notch. Look, Billy has this astounding capability of when he's doing the commentary on England, he will make any game an interesting watch. It doesn't matter what's going on the pitch. Billy will always make you smile when he's doing the England commentaries. But I tell you what, I'm looking forward to the World Cup next year, Billy, because obviously we all do that, don't we? And Stato comes on as well, and the England games we all get up for, and then they'll get the final, and then they'll let us down again, and all of this.
Odd times, though, isn't it, with America? Ooh.
Well, they're behind us, Billy, so it actually might work out.
Oh, it could do, yeah.
Oh, no. Because if a game kicks off at 7 or 8 o'clock, we're about 5 or 6 hours in front. So it depends what time zone the Americans are in. We're ahead of America, so it's going to be...
I can remember the last World Cup in America, but, games starting at like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I think we're in... well, you know what? We did the Australian one, Billy. You know what? Listen, we'll be prepared. We will be prepared.
Anyway, I had to go for a wee before half-time. I couldn't hold on. On the England game. So 2 minutes before half-time, I had to toddle off to the toilet. When I came back, they all told us that we'd scored and that they're all going to piss off and leave me on my own and all sorts. But there you go.
What I was going to say was praising Billy's professionalism. I won't do that now. He's just told me that. So there you go.
I'll piss myself.
Well, that would be terrible. But what I would recommend is just maybe have a bucket or a bottle underneath your desk. Michael McIntyre with a super sticker. Thank you very much, Michael. Yvonne has gifted a Toon Review membership, and so has Joe. So thank you very much to our mods for gifting those memberships. Much appreciated. Hang on a minute. Let's just jump in with this, shall we? Just bear with me a moment. There you go. Barbara's been with us for 44 months. Thank you, Barbara. Hope you're well. Hi, Paul. I've just read Wissa will be back for the West Ham game. Great show as always, guys. please hit the like button. Thank you, Barbara. And we've decided to give Toon 5 memberships as well there, Billy. So we'll there you go. And hopefully those people that do receive the memberships free will carry it on when it ends in a month's time. So Wissa, Billy, let's go back to Shearer's comments, because Alan Shearer has come out and said that he doesn't think Wissa should go to the African Nations Cup. Now, we did speak about this last week, if you can remember, because Wissa gave an interview saying that he was going to dedicate himself to Newcastle United. And Alan Shearer thought it was very, very silly of some sort of, I don't know whether he was blaming the Congo FA or Wissa himself or Newcastle, because he hadn't kicked a ball when he went on international duty. And he went on international duty without a pre-season, without anything, and then obviously got injured. And Alan Shearer was not happy about that. He mentioned that in the early part of the interview. Rachel's also gifted a Toon Review membership, so all the Toon Review mods are flying in with gifts here. So, I mean, look, the problem I've got, Billy, is when Wissa comes back, and we've said this many times, he's got to get match fit, and then he's got to start some games. So, yeah. I this is what worries me. By the time, African Nations, December, they're going to want their squads to convene at least 2 weeks before the tournament starts so they can set up training camps. I just don't see how... I'm actually going to be disappointed, I think, if Wissa does go to the African Nations. And that's a terrible thing to say, given it's his country. But when he turns around and says he's going to prioritise Newcastle, that indicates to me that he's not going to go.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when push comes to shove, won't it? I don't think you can kind of say to someone you can't go to the club. Certainly can't say it to him. You just can't do that. It might have been suggested to him, and he might have suggested it himself. But I know it seems shy on our part, and it is. But I just don't think you can stop a player going to the AFCON. It's their biggest tournament apart from the World Cup.
I don't think they'd stop him, Billy, but I do think that maybe
I hope he doesn't go.
Have taken place.
I hope he doesn't go.
Yeah.
But if he does go, I don't think people should say it have him against him, if I'm perfectly honest.
No. I mean, it's a massive tournament for the African nations. It's huge. Ab says Wissa ain't going to refuse to play in the AFCON. That would be very poor. Well, some people have suggested that maybe at his stage in his career now that he retires from international football, and then he doesn't have to feel the pressure of that. But then again, that would be a very late decision, and it'd be pretty much dumping his international team in it, because they would be expecting him to go. But I think Wissa's got... He's got Champions League coming up with Newcastle, Billy, and I agree with you. Newcastle won't stop him going, but when it comes to rotation purposes, towards Christmas, surely we're going to need him because and let's be honest. I mean, I know the Premier League pitches are impeccable these days, but you still get the cold weather. The pitches are a little bit heavier, etc. When they're a bit wetter than normal and a bit soggy, and so you're going to risk injuries if you're playing every 3 days.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, tournament football's the worst, especially in the middle of a season, because no time to recuperate after it. You're straight back into your league. So, to me, they've got to put it in a part of the year where it doesn't affect the leagues, and December certainly isn't that.
No,
unless we start having winter breaks alongside the rest of Europe, which is a good idea in my opinion. Then they can shove the African nations in when the winter breaks on. Have a universal winter break in Europe. Then it doesn't affect nobody. Then everyone's winner.
Yeah, but you know why it won't happen in this country, Billy?
Absolutely.
It's a money maker. Christmas.
Well, what happened is teams will go out and play friendlies, and it just defeats the object.
Yeah. Because I mean, shutting down. We saw it at the World Cup, Billy. When the World Cup was in the winter, it caused all sorts of problems, really, didn't it? Cynical Jim says, what would you have done when you played hockey, Paul, if England or Great Britain came calling? Well, they did come calling, but ice hockey works differently because whether it was the World Championships or something like that, they don't play their World Championships during the season. It's after the season, so you would never be put in that position. If I was put in that position, I don't know is the answer to that, because I don't know what my circumstances would have been. If my circumstances were the same as Wisser, and I'd come back from if I'd signed for a new team and hadn't even trained with them yet, and then all of a sudden I get myself fit, and then I sod off on international duty and sort of know that my team, really needs me, and they've paid all that money for me, then I don't know. It's a difficult situation to be in, because he's got that hanging over his head, Billy. We've paid 50 million quid for this guy, and he hasn't even trained for us yet. So that is going to be playing on his mind.
I feel for him. I mean, it's not his fault. It's nobody's fault, but it's definitely not his. If anyone is, so I do feel for him. I really do. I really do. I don't know what he's supposed to do. To me, he can't let his country down, and he can't let his club down. So what does he do? I don't know. I really don't.
Yeah. Looney Tune, I'm not sure what those emojis are when you put ice hockey. It's one of the best sports in the world, matey, but
it's a tough sport. One of the toughest, that's for certain.
Yeah. Ruffiad Benissin says Wisser can rule himself out from selection as Ben White did with England and Southgate. Yeah, but look at the stick he gets for that. This is the other side of the coin, Billy. If he doesn't go, then the national fans, his country's fans, he's going to be the subject to all sorts of hatred, because he's one of their main elite players.
Well, it probably is their elite player, to be fair.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, he's properly damned there. He wouldn't be able to go back to the Congo if he ever was from there in the first. I think he's French anyway, but of Congolese descent.
Yeah.
I just feel for him. I don't know how he would go around it. I really don't. I don't want God to, Imagine saying to Dan Burn, right, you're injured, and they've got the European Championships in the middle of it. Let's say like the World Cup, and Dan Burn was, not quite fully fit, but gets picked. And it's kind of, it intimates to him that, because he's missed a few games before, because he'll be getting injured on international duty, that, it wouldn't be quite right if he went to the World Cup with England.
Yeah.
He'd tell you to fuck off. Of course he would.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a tough decision to make. I certainly wouldn't like to be in his shoes, but look, he did. I mean, where's that comment gone? Baz says here, the way Wisser demanded to be transferred to Newcastle, he definitely needs to show support from the club that's paid a massive transfer fee and his weekly wages with no payback yet. I mean, this will be incredible. It's such a tough decision. I would hate to be in his shoes to make it. I'm sure, that's what I said before, Billy, I'm sure Eddie Howe's already had conversations. This isn't something that they're going to bring up with Wisser at the last minute. No. I'm sure Eddie's had many conversations with him about it, and I think the probability is that Eddie will probably know now what his decision's going to be, because they're not going to leave it till the last minute, because that's unfair on both sides. Wisser is going to have to decide, along with the club and along with the Congo FA, well in advance, because that's unfair to leave it till the last second, surely.
I mean, people are mentioning his wages. It's got nothing to do with his wages. It's about his availability for the club when he's not been available, well, for the country when he's not been available for the club. And it's a catch-22 situation. I don't think you can turn your country down. I don't, honestly. I just don't think you can do it. I think that's... Although, I'm more of a Newcastle fan than I'm an England fan, I just don't see that a player turns down the country. I just think this... I mean, Ben White's done it, and he's like the provider now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Ben White did it when he wasn't getting selected anyway. Johan Piss is the star player in that squad. I just don't see it. Yeah.
I mean, look, the thing is, Billy, could Newcastle turn around and say and maybe use this injury as an excuse for him not going because he's not fully fit? And Newcastle do not. I know there'd be an argument to say, well, if he was fit and playing, then obviously Newcastle can't stop him going. But if they say that he's not fully fit yet, by the time they have to meet up for the tournament, do Newcastle have a legitimate argument to keep him at home? Because we see teams pulling international players out of the squads left, right, and centre, saying they're not fit. If he's not fit by the time they have to meet up, surely that means Newcastle could use that.
I think the Congolese would want their own people to look at him first. I think You couldn't make it up that he was injured. You'd have to seriously be injured for that to happen. You couldn't, you couldn't say, he's not fit, he can't come when he is. Because I think there's ways that you could be in deep trouble if you did that.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, it's a hell of a decision to be made. It really is. By the way, did you see the Italian media again saying that saying Sandro PSG are coming in for him, just assuming that he's going to leave Newcastle, and the disrespect that they'd shown Newcastle by, it was one of these reports that said straight away that Paris Saint-Germain are going to step in and deny Juventus signing Tonali. Nothing stating that Newcastle United are probably going to be extending Tonali's contract, and the fact that he's going to be a lot of money, certainly nowhere near the 60 million euros that has been banded around by the Italian media. It's unbelievable, isn't it? They just think that little old Newcastle, it doesn't matter about them. He's obviously off.
I mean, let's be honest. Last week it was 25 million, wasn't it? So, they're just there. I think they've not actually recovered from the fact that we managed to get Botman ahead of AC Milan. Yeah. They've never recovered from that, and ever since then we've been public enemy number one to the Italian media.
Yeah.
I don't think Sandro Tonali leaves Newcastle in the next 2-3 years. I think he signs another contract, and if he's still here, by 2030, I think maybe 2030 he'll be off ski. But before then, absolutely not.
I think Newcastle United get his best years, Billy. And I did say earlier on that I know we said it about Isak, that he's, Shuli's not that kind of guy, and we obviously found out that he is that kind of guy. But with Sandro, the situation is very, very different. Mm-hmm. He's come out, and Isak never said Newcastle's his home and anything like that, like Tonali and Bruno have. And yes, Tonali will go and finish his career in Italy. I've got no doubt about that. However, that's what I think Ross Wilson's main job is going to do, Billy, is to get these elite players under the contract and we get the best years out of them at this football club. Because if we get another 3-4 years out of Tonali, we have had his best years. I don't care what anybody says.
I've noticed today that it seems to be the season for contract extensions, and it's all over social media. It's all over Sky Sports News about Pickford, etc. People signing contracts. So maybe that's Mr. Wilson's remit for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Yeah, is to get these players signed up and securely tied up in Newcastle United for the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, Sandro Tonali, for me, he wouldn't look out of place in the PSG side. He's a fantastic player.
Oh, I mean, Billy, he could go in any side.
He could.
I genuinely think we have a world-class, and people band world-class around far too easy for me these days, but I genuinely do. I believe that Tonali is a world-class midfielder. He's certainly the best midfielder I've ever seen at Newcastle United. He's right up there with the best. Julie J has also gifted a Toon Review membership. Thank you, Julie. Paul Spence has become a new member of the channel. Thank you, Paul, and welcome. And Sean with a super chat. Did you read what John Joe Shelby had to say about Newcastle? Really positive. He wasn't so nice about down south. Hello to the TTR community. Yeah, we spoke about that earlier, Sean. You're obviously watching on a little bit of a catch-up, matey. But, fantastic. Nice to hear good things about Newcastle for once. Rob says, ever since Chelsea started spending what they want and giving long contracts, it now seems to be a trend.
Well, I thought they banned that long contract thing. The 8-year contracts that they were signing players on. I thought that got banned.
Yeah, but Billy, how are you? We know Chelsea have got lawyers that just find the minutest little loophole that they will check everything before they do whatever they do and say, well, look, they can't come at us because of X, Y, Z. We've double checked this, we've double checked that, and there's a loophole there that we're gonna go through. But if it was certain other clubs, we know that they clamp down on it immediately.
No, I don't get how they've got away with spending what they've spent over the past 2-3 years. I really don't.
It's madness.
Ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It is absolute madness. Now, obviously, Ross Wilson, Billy, it's his first week this week as director of football. And we've spoken, obviously, we did a show on him the other day. There's various reports now saying, how's Ross Wilson's first week being at Newcastle United? As if, I mean, leave the fucking bloke alone. Let him go and do his bloody job and then we'll assess how he's doing in the summer, because I know the press, Billy, are just waiting for something to go wrong, even in his first week.
Of course they are. Yeah, of course they are. Anything that Newcastle United have, ever been involved with, they like to see it go a bit tits up, don't they? It's back page news. It's back page news. So,
especially with Newcastle,
I just hope that Ross Wilson can come in and make a difference and just be united with the rest of the team up the top. And if that's the case, then Eddie Howe's happy, and that means the players are happy, and that means that on the pitch we win games. That makes us all happy. Simple as that for me.
Yeah. Craig Hope's also released a little bit of a story about Johan Visser as well, Billy. And there was a rumour going around that he'd injured his ACL. I wonder where that came from.
Yeah. Barbecue City.
Well, a few accounts, let's just say that, put it out there, who thought they know, who got information. The way they worded it as well. Oh, I got that information last week as well, but I didn't release it I didn't put it out there. Well, why? If you're confident of your information, why aren't you putting it out? Why are you waiting until somebody else mentions it and then you jump on the bandwagon? Ridiculous. It was never the case that he'd done his ACL, by the way. So let's just... this is what he had to say. No, Visser is not injured, and not, by the way, in capital letters, injured his ACL, contrary to online rumours. But I can reveal that the area affected is his posterior cruciate ligament. The recovery from PCL injuries varies from a few weeks to 9 months if surgery is needed. Visser does not require an operation, and as such, he remains on track for a November return. However, before he can do so, the swelling around his knee needs to fully subside, and that remains the slight unknown. So obviously he's still suffering from swelling, Billy. And this is what I mean about using this injury. Because, if he's got swelling on the knee and they've got all the doctor's reports, which I'm sure they will have, surely they will have enough, I guess, evidence to say that we're not sending him to the African nations because he's not fully fit.
If that's the case in December, yeah. I mean, we can't play him for the 3 or 4 weeks previous to that and then say he's injured.
Yeah, but how long? I mean, he's saying a November return there, Billy, right?
Yeah.
He's not going to be match fit in November. That's going to take 5, 6.
This is going to be worse than if he does go to the AFCON and then properly does his posterior cruciate ligament, whatever it's called, and has an operation. He's out for 9 months.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he hasn't even trained yet, Billy. He hasn't had a pre-season. He's gone away for Congo and trained there for a few days leading up to 2 internationals and then got injured. He's done nothing else this season. I just don't see how Newcastle turn around and say, "Oh, we'll send you," because he's not going to be fit.
No, I wouldn't have thought
Certainly
so.
not match fit. He might be fit, as in he can run and things like that. But I'm hearing rumours, Billy, that he's running on grass. I mean, he could run on grass for a few weeks before he can kick a ball. It's the kicking of the ball that will be the mainstay. Anthony says he'll be 35 before he's ready. I mean, listen, we all know how it works with Newcastle United and injuries. 1 minute we think, we were expecting Visser back way earlier than he is. The Lewis Hall situation, what the thing that pisses me off about Hall, Billy, is it seems to have been, rinse and repeat with him, because I think we've put him on the pitch and he hasn't been fit. And it's happened again.
With Lewis Hall?
Yeah.
They've got to remember that this lad's age, he's not even fully grown yet.
Exactly.
Was he 20? They overplayed him last year when they could have played target in a few games. In the end, it was always going to end up with him being injured. And Eddie Howe was quite rightly careful with him his first season. Last season,
yeah, he was.
I mean, he was fantastic, and it was hard to kind of not play him. But with these young players, they do burn out quicker than the experienced ones. You have to ease them in gently, as he actually said to the Bishop. You really have got to take care of them.
Yeah,
and I think that's still the case with Lewis Hall.
Yeah, I agree. I just want to touch on Elliot Anderson as well, Billy, because lots of reports again today that Newcastle United are very, very interested in him bringing him back. That was always going to happen. As soon as if Elliot Anderson went to Nottingham Forest and he was really successful, which he's been, he's now in the England squad, and Tuchel really likes him, and I think he'd be going to the World Cup. The point I'm making here is Newcastle were always going to be linked with him again to say, they want to bring him back. But it seems like Manchester City are now circling for Elliot Anderson. And would you believe Chelsea, Billy, if I told you Chelsea were interested?
I'm not
Would
surprised.
that surprise you?
I won't be surprised if Liverpool, PSG, all those kind of clubs wouldn't be interested in him.
The usual sitters at the bar, shall we say, whenever Newcastle United are linked with a player.
I think Manchester United were as well, but
Yeah.
if we've got the money to pay for him, I think he comes back to us.
Well, £75 million is the fee that's been banded around, Billy, that he's valued at now. But I said this morning that if he continues the way he's going this season, right, and a regular in England international, then he plays in the World Cup.
Yeah, that could be 100 easily.
He's not going to stick at 75, is he?
No,
because of his age, the way he's playing, an England international. Nottingham Forest is sitting on a gold mine right now.
It depends on how much left he's got in his contract. I don't know what he's signed his contract for. If he signed a 4-year contract, he's only got 2 left, so it would be cheaper. So, yeah.
I mean, Robert's saying there that he would choose Newcastle. I mean, of course he'd choose Newcastle, but I don't. The problem is if we can only go to a certain valuation, and then, as usual, the teams that suddenly sort of get money from trees and seem to get away with it, i.e. Chelsea or a Liverpool, come in with a much bigger, it's Forest's decision. It's, if they don't, at the end of the day, it's not Elliot's decision, because Forest will take what they can for him, surely.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They're not in the market to give him away. I do worry about the wages. People are saying that Man City would probably pay him 300 grand a week. No one got it. We're paying him that.
Nope.
It's whether he'd come back for half that, maybe. I don't know. Yeah.
Listen, it was always going to be the case that Elliot Anderson would suddenly, not. I feel sorry for Nottingham Forest fans, because they're going to get it similar to what we've had with our players. Why would they want to stay at Nottingham Forest? All of this kind of stuff. I mean, modern day supporters, Billy, the young ones, I don't think realise just what a club Nottingham Forest is, and the history that they've got. What they did for English football was incredible. And the history they got with Brian Clough and players that they've had in the past. Again, it makes me sick when I hear, modern day fans just bad mouthing teams like Forest who've been there, done it, and worn the T-shirt, and they have no recollection of that at all.
Especially Arsenal supporters and people of that ilk. That saying they're a small side and Forest have won the Champions League twice more than they ever have, which is never.
Yeah.
I know it's historical, and I know in reality they are really not a big club, but historically they are. Yeah. European champions twice on the trot. Winning the league. Not many teams can say that, Billy. Well, I got promoted from the old Division 2 into Division 1 and won the league the year after. How many teams do that? That's how great Brian Clough was. He was outstanding manager.
Oh, do you know what I'll always remember Cloughie for, Billy? Was punching that fan on the side of the pitch. Yeah. That pitch invasion. And then Cloughie just walked out the dugout and nailed about 2 or 3 of them. Just proper right hooks as well.
But just think, if Elliot Anderson hadn't been sold, we had to sell him, obviously, but if he hadn't, when we took a point deduction, we wouldn't have qualified for Champions League, but we might have done. You don't know, because Elliot Anderson might have stepped in and been outstanding for us, and now it'd be worth the money that they're going to get for him. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. Kevin says, I saw you today whilst I was driving my postie van. Who did you see, Kevin? Was it me? Because I did see a postman opposite me when I did my video this afternoon, and I came out the door. There was a postman in a van opposite, staring me down for a minute or so before he drove off. Was that you, Kevin? Stalking me. Now, finally, Billy, Angel Gomez, who we were once linked with very briefly, now plays for Marseille, of course, has basically warned Newcastle United what they're in for, atmosphere-wise, when we travel to the Stade Velodrome in the Champions League later on this year, and said that Newcastle United think that St James's Park is hostile atmosphere, wait till they arrive at the Stade Velodrome, because it puts St James's Park, Anfield, and the rest of it to shame for its atmosphere. And he believes that Newcastle are going to simply crumble under the atmosphere at the Stade Velodrome. I don't know about you.
Thanks for the team talk, Angel.
Yeah, I mean, if that's now to stick on your dressing room wall, then what is? But I don't think Angel Gomez kind of gets the gist of that. Newcastle thrive in environments like that.
Angel Gomez is reverting to Manchester United type where he came from, and belittling the atmosphere at St James's Park and Anfield and places like that. That's what he's doing. He's still a Manchester United player at heart, isn't he?
Of course he is.
Anyone that's played for Manchester United still play the Man United trumpet the rest of the career, don't they? He's a 5'3" midfielder, a good player, but he's way too small to be playing that level of football. I mean, get dominated by our midfield.
He is a talent. He is a talented player.
He's a fantastic player.
However, listen, I've seen the Stade Velodrome many, many times. You know, it's very hostile. But let's be fair. We haven't had a lot of going into hostile environments, but PSG was a hostile environment, Billy, and we played bloody well that night and should have actually come away with a result.
And San Siro.
Dortmund was a hostile atmosphere. San Siro. And then you look closer to home, Billy. You look at the Arsenal semi-final of the Carabao. How we that was hostile. Well, as loud as the Emirates can be at times. But you know what I mean. A hostile environment, and it gets the best out of us. It pumps us up for some reason. So I'm not really concerned. And him coming out saying, "Oh, Newcastle will buckle under the atmosphere." Well, I'm sorry, Eddie. Get that printed off and get that on the dressing room wall, before the game, and make all the players walk past it and read it before they go out for warm-up. To say, "Oh, this little garden gnome thinks that we're going to crumble under the pressure."
Just show it, Joe Linton. Angel Gomez may well be an actual angel after he's finished with him.
Yeah. By the way, more reports on him from Brazilian media today, Billy, saying that his time's got to be over with Brazil because he's not the player that Brazil need. But I just think Brazil are used to all these samba stars, Billy. They're not used to a player like Joe Linton in a way that has that physicality. They just expect everyone to be able to sort of play with bare feet and run around with incredible skills. Joe Linton's
they always have one kind of hatchet man, don't they?
Yeah.
But he doesn't go forward and try and get on the end of crosses and stuff. He generally he'll sit in front of the back four and kick people as they go, like Dunga used to do, and like Casemiro's done in the past, and like Cereza used to do years ago.
To be fair to Dunga, Billy, that he could play as well, though. I mean, he had some unbelievable skills.
He could, It was generally square balls and fouling people. I mean, that was it. He was the captain.
Nails. Yeah,
he was, and that's been there. Whereas Joe Linton is nothing like that. He's fairly obvious in what he does.
Yeah, I just get the feeling, Billy, that maybe it's come a little bit too late for Joe.
Yeah, I think so.
But listen, we'll still support.
I'll still pick him ahead of Casemiro every day of the week.
Oh, hell yes. Right, that is it for tonight, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. Just to let you know what's coming up on the Toon Review. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, breakfast show with myself. I will be bringing you all the breaking news from Newcastle and, of course, having a chat about what Eddie Howe had to say in the press conference itself. I've had a few people send messages to me saying, why aren't we broadcasting the press conference? We can't, right? I've looked into it, and we're not allowed to because it's copyright. Now, people are shouting me saying, the other channels are doing it. Fine. I'm not prepared to take the risk. I've looked into it. I will not be broadcasting the press conference live on here. It's already... Listen... The press conference is on the app and it's on the website. It's broadcast live. So I don't understand what difference it would make me putting it out on this channel, just staying silent for half an hour while everybody listens to Eddie. What I'll do is I'll go on as soon as Eddie finishes and talk about the press conference. But I am not willing to risk this channel just to put something out live that's already out live anyway. It doesn't make any sense. So... though the channels that are doing it, they will get stopped. I'm telling you now, because I've gone down the right avenues.
They'll get sued because it's Premier League property.
They are looking at copyright suing and things like that. Trust me, I've looked into it and I've gone down the proper avenue to look into it. And I know for a fact that if I broadcast that live on here, because we're without being big-headed, we're a big channel now and we're out there. Smaller channels don't get seen as much, obviously, so they can maybe get away with things. I don't know. But at the same time, however, there is no way I am broadcasting it live when I know for a fact that I'm not allowed to. So that's the reason we don't do it. We wait until the press conference is over and then we'll do a show and talk about what Eddie had to say. If you want to watch it, it's there. It's on the app. It's on Newcastle's website as well. So go and watch it on there. And then, yeah, it's ridiculous. And I don't know why. Well, I do know why, but, we're not taking the risk. Simple as that. So join me at 10 o'clock for that. And then 7 o'clock tomorrow night, we have the preview, of course, of the Brighton game. So we'll take a look at Brighton's form and players that might be in or missing. We'll try and put a Newcastle 11 together. Does Eddie go with the same side that beat Forest before the break? And, of course, we'll be getting score predictions, etc. And then 2:30 on Saturday afternoon is Matchday Live with myself and Billy as the Premier League returns. Full half an hour build up to the game. And then, of course, full commentary from 3 o'clock. So loads to get into, guys. Make sure you give this show a like if you've enjoyed it. And, of course, make sure you subscribe if you're new and you like what you see. It really does help us build this channel. Thank you for all your super chats and memberships tonight. Mods and Billy, thank you. And thank you to you guys for spending an hour or so with us tonight. And we will see you all again tomorrow. But in the...
Away, lads and lasses.
Come back and check on see.